Welcome Strategy Battle Gamers to another GBHL YouTube video. You're here with your host GBHL Damian, and this is the first episode of the Palantir. Oh yes, as hopefully some of you will have seen in our preview video, it went up on Tuesday. This is the new show that I'll be co-hosting. I'll be going out every Friday, and I'm quite excited to get started, and I hope you guys are too. So, before we go any further, I think it would only be fair if I introduce my mystery co-host. Now, I know a lot of you have given your suggestions about who you think this is going to be, and I think some of you might have got it, but I think there's still going to be plenty of surprises out there. So, here we go for the big unveil. Sorry. Are we ready? Drum roll, please. The co-host for the Palantir is Emma O'Byrne. It's my wife. Yeah, my wife will be joining me here on the sofa every week, and we will be talking about everything that is new and exciting in the world of The Lord of the Rings. So, before... What?
I thought you said going out every Friday, like we're going out every Friday.
Well, yeah, but we're broadcasting, we're going out every Friday.
Not going out for dinner?
No, we can get a curry if you want.
So, what is this?
It's for the YouTube channel. You know, the...
You're talking about your nerdy little figures.
Well, yeah.
No, I'm not involved in that. Joking.
Right. Well, friends. Right. He's got a show. He's got a show. That really only leaves one option, doesn't it? Welcome Strategy Battle Gamers to another GBHL YouTube video. You're here with your host, GBHL Damian, and Barry O'Byrne, my dad.
What's all this about?
You know, it's the show. I thought you could...
Not Lord of the Rings, is it?
Oh yeah, but it's...
I'm not interested in Lord of the Rings. Why don't you ask Tom?
I hate Tom. Oh, it's Tom. Tom Harrison.
Yep.
Hey! I'm only joking. It's Tom Harrison. Tom Harrison. Look how handsome he is. Who knew? Eh?
Yeah.
This has been well, I mean, you can imagine them watching this now and being like, mind blown.
Exactly.
Tom Harrison, as I live and breathe. How are you, Tom?
Good.
Yeah?
Yeah, we're clearly, this is obviously the first video that we're shooting, given that we're in the same clothes.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, this is definitely the first video we've shot in this situation on this evening.
Yes.
Yeah, don't go back through the last few days' videos. But yes, so as I'm sure will come as a surprise to precisely no one, Tom Harrison will be the co-host of the Palantir. So yeah, episode 1. We were going to promise that this will be better than episode 1 of Star Wars.
Yeah, which is not very difficult.
No, as long as it's slightly unrubbish, then it should be alright.
Rubbish.
Yeah, that's what we're aiming for. This is our first attempt at this. As long as it's slightly unrubbish,
Yeah.
we'll be going for it.
And it doesn't have Jar Jar Binks.
No, Jar Jar. So yeah, this is our new weekly show.
Yeah.
It's called the Palantir. Why the Palantir?
Because, as Damien kind of outlined in the first video, the idea is that we're going to be talking about hot topics. Hot rather than handsome topics, but hot topics in the world of SBG. So, any news about film, or as if we're Americanized, like to say movies, anything in terms of, well, toys, but beyond the wider scope, as we may touch on today, of Games Workshop related toys.
Yeah.
And then anything that's discussed in the forums, on the One Ring, on TLA, if that's some stuff on there, on the Facebook group. that's a tumbleweed face.
Alas.
Yeah.
Facebook group as well.
Facebook
group seems to get a lot going on there.
Potentially people commenting on YouTube videos as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
If there's anything in one of GBHL North's videos.
I like this.
Yeah.
GBHL North and GBHL South.
It does pain me a little bit to be GBHL South, given
What with
that.
your bath?
Yeah, given that I'm from the north, and James, potentially you could argue should be GBHL South.
Swapped.
But I don't think that it'd work as much if it was me and Jamie and you and
James.
James. Because you and James are clearly the gobby ones, for want of a better phrase.
I think that's fair. I think that's fair enough.
Or the
who knows
the
though, as you
ones.
come out of your shell.
Yeah, maybe.
So we'll be here every Friday, talking about whatever's kind of hopefully quite interesting that week in the world of
Quite
Middle-earth.
interesting. It's
Quite
like
interesting.
It's QI for
it's
nerds.
QI is QI.
QI.
It's QI for Lord of the Rings nerds. As we kind of hinted at before, we'll have an agenda for this. We've kind of we're kind of monitoring the forums throughout the week to kind of figure out the kind of topics that people might want to hear about or might want to discuss if you have missed them. So it's not going to be the same Q&A. We were very keen to distance it from the Q&A, so the shows are different essentially.
I mean, I guess people could, if there's been some long discussion, could post on the video
absolutely.
and say, actually, I want you to
So if you
talk about this.
If you think there's anything worth discussing, put it on this video for next week, and we'll have a look at it.
But not in a question format. Just please discuss this.
I'm sure we'll answer stuff, but we kind of want to make sure that nothing gets taken away from the speak friendly question.
Don't start asking us about our business.
Fitness questions. I can tell you a lot about fitness. I tell you, like curry, drink a lot of curry, drink a lot of curry, eat a lot of beer, and you'll have a body like this, children.
Yeah, or impromptu visits to different countries to act as an extra. Probably don't ask us that. But
obviously, once we discuss these things, we're hoping that you will interact with us a bit and kind of tell us what you think.
Yeah.
So we've got a few topics to talk about tonight, and hopefully you'll kind of put your comments on, and then maybe we'll end up starting each week with a little review of what the listeners said.
Yeah.
Or something like that, and sort of seeing what the feedback was.
Yeah.
We will only give you our opinions.
Yeah.
Like when rules disputes come up and stuff, the things we're going to talk about today, we're not right, we're not wrong. We'll tell you what we think and try and summarise the.
And then he'll write his opinion into the FAQ, and it's fine.
Absolutely. There's occasionally like incredibly long threads on the Facebook group with like 68 comments that if you didn't follow, you're going to go, I'll never read that. And so maybe this is where we'll kind of go, and then they said, blah, and kind of sum it up there. So
with sound effects.
Yeah. The name of the show, the Palantir.
Yeah, the name of the show.
Took a while.
Yeah. Comment below if you like it or dislike it.
It's a bit late if you dislike it.
Yeah, I'm not going to change it.
It was between the four of us, wasn't it? We've got a Facebook thread between the four.
3 + 1.
Sorry, GBHL, James, Jamie, and myself and Tom, talking about it, and I think we're set on. I think we're pretty happy with it. What do we talk about?
There was what news from the Mark?
What news from the Mark? Because obviously it's about news and rumours.
What do your elf eyes see?
What do your elf eyes see? And I think the issue with them is they're a bit long, a bit wordy.
Yeah.
Aren't they? But we wanted something Lord of the Rings-y.
Yeah.
About news or seeing things, and the idea of the seeing stone and the Palantir and looking into it, and because we won't, again, I think it's quite cool that we won't be right or wrong.
Yeah.
We're going to look at some stuff today.
That's actually a very good point, in that a lot of people look into these Palantirs, especially someone like Denethor, and make the wrong conclusions. So let's say that was all the plan all along, that we called it the Palantir because we're not always right. We're
going to be looking at things like the trailers and merchandise and trying to draw little tidbits out of it of what it might mean, but we could well be wrong. And that's the same with the rules disputes. We could well be wrong. And so I think it fits the kind of thing. It's quite snappy.
Yeah.
But hopefully you'll look forward to another kind of sit and chat essentially every week. To get some painting done. It is a painting video.
Yeah, you don't have to look at us, which is always a bonus.
Absolutely. Although with the king of handsome here himself, I wouldn't blame you for just staring into the light. But it's hopefully
that's why you put a sheet on me.
Hopefully it's another great chance for you guys to sit down over the weekend, get some painting done, and we hope you enjoy it. So we're starting this out. It's brand new. Comment below kind of what you think.
Feedback would be really good in terms of what worked, what didn't.
Yeah.
That's probably your two options really, what worked and what didn't work.
Absolutely. Damian worked, Tom did not work, that sort of thing. But
I didn't like the tea drinking throughout. It distracted me from the handsome of
yeah, you've moved on to tea.
Yeah.
Oh, exciting. What should we drink? So, without further ado, our first topic. We're going to play slightly loose this week. Normally we'll go back 1 week of what's happened.
Yeah.
Because it's the first edition, we've picked a few things from the last kind of couple of weeks that are quite exciting. Should we start with the DVD?
Yeah. So, for those who aren't living in a cave, will know that there's going to be an extended edition of The Desolation of Smile coming out in November. Who'd have thought it? And yeah, it's
November the 3rd. It's being released.
massively exciting because I think it's a lot longer than the Unexpected Journey in terms of extended content.
Yeah.
It's 25
minutes of new stuff.
which is almost half an hour. That's how good my maths is. That's a lot of time to be sitting around watching more Hobbit.
Yeah, they need to be longer. That's what people always think about Middle Earth films. Too short.
Too short.
But I think I think it's maybe a issue with the split from 2 films to 3 films. That when they had to make Unexpected Journey into a film on its own, a lot of what would have been the extended version of the first of the 2 films became the theatrical edition of the first of the 3 films. So then the first of the 3 films didn't have a lot to put in.
Yeah.
And it was 13 minutes. It was really good. Rivendell did really well out of it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of new stuff in Rivendell. I really liked it.
And if you like naked dwarves.
Yeah, absolutely. Naked CGI dwarves.
Yeah.
Who doesn't? Then that's for you. But I actually read an interview recently with Peter Jackson where he said that he actually thought it was good stuff, but it didn't really change the story a lot. No. But this one, he thinks there's 25 minutes of really good stuff. Yeah. It's going to change it a lot. Have you seen the scene?
I have seen the scene.
The scene? Have you seen the scene? There's a preview scene, a 2-minute scene from it.
Yeah. If you've not seen the scene, pause now, go onto your whatever, I'm not going to say a name of it, search engine. Go on a search engine and type in the extended edition of Desolation of Smile, and there should be some form of exclusive video with 2 minutes of extra footage.
And we are going to talk about it.
Yeah.
So if you don't want to have this spoiled, then turn away now and come back in about, I don't know, 5 minutes or something.
Yeah, we'll wave at you.
We'll do this when you can come back. So the scene is...
It's straight out of the book, yeah, straight out of the book. Bilbo and the dwarves are all in Mirkwood, and they're trying to cross a stream, which they've come across. And this is kind of before they fully appreciate that Mirkwood is a bit off.
I'm trying to slot it in, and I think it will be before the whole bit where Boffer drops his purse. It's before that.
Yeah, before they start,
I think.
Because
I'll tell you how you know. It's obviously going to be the scene in the book where Bomber falls in the river and he falls asleep. And in that scene, here's some particularly good nerd stuff, guys. In the scene where Boffer drops his purse, go and watch the theatrical edition of Desolation of Smile, and you see them put Bomber down. You see them in the background. They're carrying him on a stretcher, and they put him down. And it's really, really, really small.
Subtle.
And you couldn't make it out as that, but you can clearly see 2 dwarfs kind of lift something down.
Now you see, this is what you pay your subscription for, subscribers.
I didn't spot this, by the way. I can't take credit for this. I think it was on the One Ring. Someone did. There's 2 shots. There's one, I can't remember what the other one is. There's one where you see him put them down, and there's another one where in the background you can see that some dwarfs are carrying
a fat
Bomber.
thing.
Yeah. So we knew it was going to be in there, and it's great.
Yeah.
Really great to see that scene go back in, because my favourite part of the book is the Mirkwood section, and I thought the film did it really well, but it was really quick.
Yeah, and you kind of, if you've read the book, you notice when some of the more iconic moments aren't left in, and Peter Jackson's usually pretty good at keeping those iconic moments in the film.
It keeps the major beats, doesn't it? Yeah.
And potentially, I mean, Bomber, obviously, his word count in the film is
0.
Pushing on 1. So yeah, maybe they've
him being asleep will help with that.
Yeah. So maybe he thought it'd slow the film down. But having watched it at the 2 minutes, it's actually, I really like what I've seen. I mean, it doesn't finish the scene.
No.
It just has Bilbo going first, trying to get across and being comical as
Really good comedy
is.
stuff. There's some really nice character stuff. With him.
Really kind of aloof about this.
I can't
fact
see
that
any
he's-
problem. Oh, there's one.
There's one.
Oh, right.
Yeah. What a gag.
It's good. I thought it was fun.
I thought it was really good. And then the dwarves obviously don't heed Bilbo because they're obviously just wanting to get across the stream. Now they've seen Bilbo do it, and if Dodgy Burglar can do it, they can do it.
Absolutely.
And and Bomber ends up the final shot of the what sneak preview you get is Bomber essentially falling back into the stream.
And I'm really glad to see it as a fan of that sequence, but I can utterly see why that would be cut out from the movie. I wrote this on the One Ring on a response to it. That if you go and watch it, everyone, I think, and I did this, I remembered the Hobbit book as they get to Mirkwood and then Bomber falls in the stream, and then they kind of walk through Mirkwood and they interrupt the elves and they get attacked by spiders and then Bomber wakes up. It's not. Like, go and read it. Bomber falls in the stream, and then if they wander around and a few pages later Bomber wakes up. It's a complete non-event.
Yeah.
It does nothing. And you can see from a theatrical movie that is quite long,
Yeah.
a dwarf falling asleep
For no
and then
reason.
some shots of dwarfs carrying a sleeping dwarf aren't particularly cinematic. But
No.
for the DVD,
Yeah.
it's brilliant. It's great to have it back in.
Yeah.
So that's the little scene.
Yeah.
And it hopefully bodes well for the 25 minutes of new stuff.
Yeah, so we've got 2 of the 25 minutes locked down, and for those who have seen Damian's trailer preview, thoughts on the
Trailer dissertation.
Yeah. You'll know that Damian likes to kind of theorise about what is going to happen or not happen, what have you.
Goes into the Palantir, if you will.
Yeah.
That's the Palantir, it's the name of the show.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
It's pretty good. So anyway, Damien will obviously be wanting to know what's happening in the other 23 minutes. And we have some thoughts.
Yeah.
Probably not right.
Probably not the same.
Yeah. Probably not the
I
same.
haven't talked about them. Apparently we have some thought.
Yeah. I think it's pretty clear that it's going to be more towards the start of the film.
Yeah. Well, I certainly hope so.
Yeah. And a lot of that hopefully will revolve around Bayon, who in the theatrical version
Very
is,
short.
Yeah, very short.
It's actually, I think, probably one of the only examples in the Hobbit movies of the film version being shorter than the book version.
Yeah.
Considering it's expanded so much, there's more of Bayon
in the Hobbit,
in the
Hobbit
book.
as opposed to Lord of the Rings. Yeah.
In the Hobbit films, there's more of Bayon in the book
Yeah.
than the film, and that's pretty rare.
Yeah.
But yeah, absolutely. There's definitely been there's a shot. There's some stills, very early publicity stills of Bayon chatting to Gandalf outside.
Yep.
So that's a scene.
And there was the one with him chopping wood.
Him chopping wood. There's the thing from the scrolls. Remember the big long poster?
Yeah.
The first thing that came out that had Gandalf talking to the bear. Now that could be a kind of posed, mopped up photo. And Michael Perksbrant, or whatever he said before he got sent to jail for cocaine. Let's hope he didn't have any pickups to do. He said that one of the scenes he filmed was a torture scene with Azog, and it's not clear. He didn't make it clear whether he was being tortured by Azog.
Because you expect so.
Because he makes all that thing about how he's been
chains,
chained. But then there's also the bit in the book, at least, that he goes off. He doesn't believe him at first, does he?
No.
They come in and then he goes and he finds a goblin and a warg, and he kills the goblin, and then he comes back the next day and says, "Now I believe you," because he's tortured them.
Yeah.
So.
But he won't be torturing Azog.
No, but yeah, I suppose it's probably a flashback of some sort.
Yeah.
But that, there's a lot of potential there, I think, for that to be expanded out. Nicely.
Yeah, and it'd be nice to have more to Bayon's character, because I think in the film potentially he comes across as just quite surly.
Yeah.
He's just this big guy.
They they needed to put him in for the role he'll have in the third film.
Exactly.
But yeah, so certainly I know a lot of people would like to see more Bayon, so that'd be cool.
Yeah.
Because I remember I loved Desolation Smell. I remember watching it, I think in the first half of the movie, and I know a lot of people would disagree with this, was damn near perfect. I thought it was brilliant.
I thought up to Mirkwood I was absolutely loving it.
Yeah.
I can't think of much wrong.
And then I was watching the DVD the other day, and once they get to Lake Town, there's an hour and a half. So Beorn, Mirkwood, Thranduil's Halls is like 50 minutes or something. And so I actually think the second half of the film has been treated really well. I don't think we need a whole lot more Lake Town or a lot more Smaug or anything like that. And so Beorn, hopefully, and then a lot more Mirkwood. They definitely, I don't think they're going to have anything about them interrupting the elves like they do in the book, because I don't think that fits into their picture of it.
No.
But certainly they might have the stag bit. You know, there's Thorin shoots the white stag, and I've read some interview somewhere that mentioned that, where the stag's a sort of like a Patronus of Thranduil. They said like his animal spirit or something.
Yeah.
So that might be in there.
Potentially. More of the animosity theme.
Maybe more of the spiders. I love the spiders, but again, maybe that fight could be a bit bigger.
Yeah. Maybe they'll explain why when Bilbo took the ring off that he could still understand the spider.
I think the answer to that is for cinematic effect. Absolutely, yeah. It stings! It stings!
It stings, yeah.
That's great. I love that bit. I love that whole scene. Maybe more in Thranduil's Halls as well. Like, just more between the elves, perhaps.
Yeah. On the spiders point, deviating from the point of the purpose of the show, but I watched it at the IMAX with yourself, and that was the first time I'd seen the film, and I've not been to a big IMAX cinema before, and I'm usually sceptical of 3D, but actually the Mirkwood bit with spiders was amazing in 3D, in the IMAX with the huge screen. I mean, you felt quite scared, because there's these huge, horrible looking spiders just coming at you, which was pretty impressive.
So that, I personally had, there's 25 new minutes. If everything was pre-Lake Town, I would be more than happy with that.
Yeah.
I'd be absolutely delighted.
Yeah, maybe they'll have more in Lake Town.
Oh, you know what else they'll have? Almost certainly what they've said, the Gandalf v Thrain fight.
Oh, of course. Hence the model.
They've
released.
Thrain the Broken, absolutely. Oh, that was something else, model-wise.
Yeah.
This was kind of speculated about a lot last year, but it's kind of confirmed. That again shows how this kind of film breakdown messed up GW's schedule. The Gandalf and Bilbo pack. You know, the twin pack where Bilbo's leaping over the log. Look at what Bilbo's got on. And he's got some weird things that kind of look like nuclear warheads. He's got like a big brown strap over here, and he's got two and then bottles down here. And then go and watch. You can see it really clearly in that extended clip. You can see it a bit when he arrives at Mirkwood in the theatrical edition on the pony. You can see that backpack.
And that's come from
Beorn's house. And Gandalf is bent forward without his hat on, like he is in Dol Guldur, because that twin pack was meant to be for film 2.
Yeah.
Yeah? Because that twin pack was... No, sorry, it wasn't meant to be for film 2. When it was
film 1.
When it was two
film
films,
1, but it got released.
Mirkwood sequence was in the first half.
Yeah.
Yeah? So that twin pack is meant to represent them there.
Where do you reckon they'd have ended it?
It was after the barrels.
Oh, of course.
You can see it all on that scroll thing. It was after the barrels and Beorn was in it.
Yeah,
so that's why the barrels is such a big
looking
cinematic
moody
moment.
in a film towards the end of the film.
That's why that barrels is such a big action piece, because that was meant to be the end of the first film.
I think it did fine as a long action scene.
Oh yeah, I loved it. I thought it was brilliant. So that's why if you go and look at that pack, all that stuff Bilbo's wearing, you don't see a lot of it in the films because that sequence is so short.
Yeah.
But it's stuff he gets from Beorn's house.
Yeah.
Should you ever need it.
Yeah.
So if you're having trouble painting it, it kind of looks like he's got a giant slug on his shoulder, to be honest. Go and have a look at those sequences and you'll see some like colour tips.
And don't paint it like a slug.
Don't paint it like a slug.
I'm also... I like all of the nice touches they have, but I was quite interested to see Beorn's chess set.
Yeah.
That's what I'd like to see in a shot in the film.
Do you want to see more of that?
More of the chess set.
Yeah, because there's one shot that pans over, isn't there? Yeah, that was quite cool. They're all in like hand carved. But yeah, the Thor v Thrain stuff, I've seen an interview with, I think it was Richard Armitage, where he doesn't know what's in Extended Edition, but he's saying there's a chunk of stuff that's missing, where you see Thorin and Thrain fighting at the Battle of Dimril Dale outside the gates. So there's more stuff that possibly shows Thrain going mad. Yeah. That I reckon will be a flashback. Yeah. When Gandalf finds Thrain. Yeah. So the shot, if you in the trailer, the very first trailer for The Hobbit had it, didn't it? No, it wasn't. No, it didn't have him jumping on it. The very first trailer for The Hobbit had Gandalf fighting Thrain. Yeah. And the very first trailer for Desolation of Smaug had Thrain jumping on Gandalf. Yeah, had the jumping, definitely, I remember that. And that shot's in the theatrical edition, just without Thrain. That very same shot, go and watch the trailer, is just before he confronts Azog
Mm-hmm.
He walks forward and the camera's below him and it pans up a tower, and literally, I don't know if they CGI'd him out or just cut it too soon,
Yeah.
but it's that shot that in the trailer Thrain jumps on him. So I reckon in there, just before he meets Azog, Thrain's going to jump on him, they have their scrap, he kind of restores his sanity somehow, then Thrain tells him,
About map and
does
key.
a flashback, yeah. He's already got the key. In the film, he's already got it. The Thrain gives it to him before he goes away, doesn't he? They changed the chronology of it.
Yes.
Gandalf's got the key and the
Yeah.
map at that stage. Because I think the reason for
So
that was
why
that...
don't it be a flashback with Thrain?
But that's not a flashback, that happens then, but he
Yeah.
might then tell Gandalf about what happened at the battle. So when you see Thorin and Thrain
okay.
fighting side by side, that might be a flashback.
Yeah. Yeah.
He gazes into the Palantir. Possibly.
But yeah, I big fan of Gandalf and Dol Guldur. It was amazing in the film. I really loved that part. So more of that, definitely.
Another hint about what might be in it that could work as a beautiful segue.
Mm-hmm.
Well, actually, they've also said, by the way, there's 9 hours of special features. So that's it's still a bit of a shame compared to Lord of the Rings that I think was about 24, because they were only doing one. Doing one commentary now.
Yeah.
It's like the Peter Jackson commentary, which is really good. But I really enjoyed the Lord of the Rings ones with the design team. So you get a
And they had
commentary.
the actors as well. They had lots.
It was pre-production, actors, post-production, and directors. But you get one commentary, and then you get about 6 hours documentaries. And have you got the extended Hobbit? Yeah. They're great.
Yeah.
The documentaries on it are absolutely brilliant.
Yeah. And it kind of inspires a lot of people to want to become either whatever involved in film in some way. I mean, if you're into art, you want to become something involved in the art side, costumes, whatever.
I was so relieved that they did that for The Hobbit, given how good the Lord of the Rings were. Because I still, to this day, I think those Lord of the Rings extended editions are the best DVDs that have ever been released in terms of behind the scenes stuff. And it's properly, you see how to make a film, not just how they did this bit or this bit. It's really how they did it. So apart from the lack of a few commentaries, the Hobbit ones are great, and they were quite honest with things like the Azog. So I'm hoping there might be a really good documentary about when it became 3 films. I'd like to see that, like about the change from 2 films to 3 films and how that. I'm hoping they might be a bit open about that and talk about the restructuring and when they swapped Bolg as the model we know him for the CGI Bolg, when they swapped Azog and Bolg's position. Yeah. That sort of thing.
How late in the day was that as well? Yeah,
I'd be really interested in that.
Because the trailer for, I mean, you've said this before, the trailer for Desolation of Smaug has Azog attacking Mirkwood.
Yep, like the barrel scout when he jumps up and over.
Yeah, we never get to see that.
Yeah, and ironically, actually, that was I remember a lot of trailer reviews of people saying, "Oh, it looks awful. I hate Azog. I hope he's not in it." And so Peter Jackson listened and moved him.
Really?
Well, that's probably not why he did it.
No.
But, a lot of people don't like Azog.
Whatevs.
So yeah, that's cool that there'll be more documentary and stuff. Very looking forward to that. But what I was going to say, which is going to be our beautiful segue into point 2, is that another thing that might be in it, if you look at the Lego sets from Desolation of Smaug, the Dol Guldur ambush is Beorn at Dol Guldur.
Yeah.
So is that a scene? So are we seeing, does Beorn go to rescue Gandalf in film 3, or in film 2 as a flashback?
Yeah.
Do we see Beorn investigating Dol Guldur and being captured by Azog?
Yeah, so a kind of a theory, given that he talks about the torture of his own race and he's got these chains on his, is Beorn captured by Azog or whoever, Bolg potentially in the original script, and tortured himself? If so, how does he escape as well?
Absolutely.
I mean,
probably turns into a bear.
Hurls. Hurls a lot.
Maybe as a prisoner he was unbearable.
Oh, we had some good bear puns, didn't we? What was it? No.
Pause for thought.
Pause for thought,
So yeah, that little Lego set where I think it's like 2 Gundabad orcs, some kind of rocks, and the Beorn minifig kind of implies that at some point in a script, at the very least, Beorn was at Dol Guldur. Yeah. So we might see some of that.
Yeah.
So yeah, those are. Anything else on the extended edition? I think that's it.
As long as there's not more Smaug chasing dwarves around.
I think we've seen all that.
Yeah.
I would be greatly surprised if that sequence is extended very much.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll answer the question, and they might do this in film 3, of how in the heck does Smaug know his name's Oakenshield? Think about that for a minute. He calls him Oakenshield.
Yeah.
The only compelling theory I've heard about this is that Smaug is in some way in league with the Necromancer, and they've had a chat. Maybe looking into the Palantir. But yeah, he calls him Oakenshield.
He gets paid for every time he mentions Palantir.
Get paid nothing. But yeah, he calls him Oakenshield.
Yeah, that is a good point.
It's a very good
I
point.
mean, my more pressing point is how, fantasy dwarves are not affected by fantasy dragon fire, which I expect, based on my calculations, is quite hot. How they don't frazzle.
I think, again, unfortunately, and I don't mind it as much as some, but it is so over the top that's the problem with it becoming 3 films, that the new film 2 needed an ending, needed an action sequence, and so that big seat they filmed everything, so they
Burn Lake Town.
Yeah,
that's an action sequence.
Burn Lake Town to the ground.
Because that shot in the trailer looks amazing.
It's great. It looks so good. Have you heard my thoughts about the trailer?
I might have had to watch it. I'll listen to you talking about it.
Yeah, so that's very exciting.
Yeah.
It comes out on November the 3rd,
Yep.
which is a week before my birthday. So hashtag just saying. But yeah, it'll be great. I've always really enjoyed the month before the films come out that you get the extended edition to just get you back into that kind of Middle Earth zone
So you
that
say
I
it's
frequently leave.
A week before your birthday.
Yeah.
So you're going to wait until your birthday for someone to buy it for you and then watch it. That's exactly what you're going to do. You're not going to be there at 7 in the morning.
Do you want to know what I did last year?
You went to the shop on the morning?
No, it was about the same gap, and I downloaded it on iTunes on my computer and watched all the documentaries, and then I got the film on Blu-ray for my birthday and watched the film on the Blu-ray player.
Okay.
Because I'm that guy.
That's a compromise.
But then, yeah, I did not mind. I do not, yes, I'm a loser nerd. If this shocks you, you haven't listened to a lot of my videos. So yeah, November the 3rd,
Yeah.
I'm very excited. And it's only it's 3 months away, under 3 months, which suddenly crept up incredibly quickly. It's nearly Christmas. November the 3rd is 3 months away. It's nearly Christmas.
Okay.
Logic, science.
Yeah, science.
So yeah, there is the first point.
Yeah.
Which is probably about 2 hours long.
Yeah. And you led us nicely a few minutes ago.
I did. I led us into a beautiful segue into our second point.
Yeah.
And then have long lost the segue.
Yeah.
I mentioned the Beorn Lego set as giving us a hint. And what else exciting happened about a week ago?
The Lego sets that are due to be released for the Battle of 5 Armies were leaked on some site. I don't know what the site was. And it was just a kind of a snapshot because they were up and then they were down. Because obviously...
Like Katy Perry.
I set him up for that go. Obviously, Lego don't want people to be seeing them.
October the 15th is the embargo.
Okay.
Should you want to put it in your diary, October the 15th is the merchandising embargo where you'll start to see things like the annual.
Okay.
There's a new, I'm going wildly off topic,
Yeah.
I forgot about this. There's a new Chronicles book been announced.
Yep.
They're really good. If you haven't read these, go on. They're pretty cheap on Amazon. I think they're only like 10 quid on Amazon. Really nice hardback books with all the art and design, and the art and design of the Battle of 5 Armies has been announced for December the 17th, which is a week before Christmas. So
Wouldn't you know it?
Yeah. So that I'll be obviously getting.
Yeah.
They're really, really high quality books. Really nice stuff.
Yeah, I mean, they had them in the Lord of the Rings days, and just amazing illustrations, but also the concept. Like, it's pretty interesting. I mean, we said it in the Goblin King video for those who've watched it.
Everyone.
Everyone. That you can look at these pictures and sometimes they don't always match up with what's the final product.
Yeah,
in
it's
the
nice
film.
to see where they came from. I really liked the in the Desolation of Smaug one. You can see the Mirkwood concept art, and they had some stuff about the trees, kind of the ground falling away beneath the roots, and the roots becoming the roof of the forest. So you were then walking underneath the roots. It's just really cool to look at.
Yeah.
So I've actually got the latest one. The latest one's called Cloak and Dagger.
Okay.
Which is about the weapons and costumes, I think.
Yeah.
I haven't got that one, but they're really, really good books.
That's another birthday hint.
Yeah, hashtag just saying. But yes, that's been announced, but that's not what we're talking about.
No.
We're talking about the Lego And so somehow, I think I heard they came from a Spanish factory or Mexican factory or something.
Okay.
And then Lego have pulled the photos. So we're not gonna flash up the images.
No.
Because we don't want to get anyone in trouble.
No.
But they announced officially at Comic-Con the Erebor set.
Yep.
Which is like a bunch of kind of archers and stuff, Smaug,
Mm-hmm.
and then a bunch of the dwarfs. Which also, Smaug is very small.
Yeah.
Smaug is about, in Lego terms, that big compared to a dwarf.
Yeah.
Which, for my money, puts paid to that ridiculous rumour that GW couldn't make Smaug because Warner Brothers wouldn't let him be scaled down. They let Lego scale him down, so hopefully that one, gone.
But, I mean, where did these rumours come from?
Yeah, exactly. So that's good. So that one's been officially announced and looks very cool, but looks very much like the end of Desolation of Smaug, because Smaug's in Erebor with the dwarfs.
Yeah.
But there are 3 new ones, which are...
So the first is a Dol Guldur set. Is that the first one?
Well, I don't think they're chronological. Called Witch King Battle.
Yes.
Very small set.
So unsurprisingly you get the Witch King, but in Twilight Wraith form, which is really cool. So as you see on Weathertop, and as you see attacking Radagast with the Morgul Blade in the first Hobbit film, so you'll see the Witch King in that form, but it's also got 2 elves, and they are Galadriel with the file. You can clearly see the file, so that's cool. If it can banish spiders, it can banish... Banish is the key word as well for us strategy battle gamers.
It is, of course, yeah. That's the talk, isn't it? The banish spell, which no one has of yet. For a couple of years, the common nerd consensus has been that Galadriel will have a new profile with banish.
Yeah, but they did put Galadriel into the first Unexpected Journey rulebook, so...
But it might be a new kind of war aspect, because at Comic-Con she said, we can't complete the quote on the channel, but Kate Blanchett said that Galadriel loses her stuff. So maybe she's going to become a war aspect, so hopefully in this source book there'll be a new war aspect version, perhaps.
And Elrond is the other figure that you get as well. So clearly Elrond and Galadriel go to help out Gandalf.
Absolutely.
We already knew Galadriel did for certain because of the trailer,
Yep.
But this confirms that Elrond will be there.
And a lot of people have been wondering whether Saruman will be there.
Yeah.
And my money's on no, because not just because of Lego, but he was never in New Zealand. He shot all his stuff in England.
But you can easily have a double, and then he does...
I suppose.
Any close-up... I mean, how much... I mean, for talking, Saruman's not going to be flying around.
I think it's a lot hard... With the scene at the White Council scene, where he's just sitting talking... Yeah. It's fine. Where the idea of Christopher Lee spinning around on a green screen...
But maybe it fits with Saruman because of the whole, he's really reluctant, he's trying to stop them going. Maybe he was trying to stop them going, as you kind of saw in the White Council scene, and then not actively going because he doesn't particularly...
Yeah. I reckon we might get a White Council scene at the start of the film where Radagast arrives and Saruman's there. Yeah. But it's then Galadriel and Elrond who go. Although he did say, Christopher Lee said in his Christmas message that there's going to be I think I said this in the trailer, that he's going to be in it a lot. Yeah. But
that could just be the White Council bit.
Yeah. So we know that scene's going to be so cool. I can't wait for that. And possibly, as we said, with Beorn, who knows if he turns up at that. Yeah. Possibly Thranduil Galadriel might lead the elves. There's a bit in the extended Unexpected Journey commentary where Peter Jackson says the siege of Dol Guldur is like Helm's Deep, but the other way around. With the elves on the other side. So I reckon, I've said this somewhere before, I don't think it was in the trailer breakdown, I reckon Galadriel might say to Thranduil, come on.
With the Mirkwood elves.
Yeah, and Thranduil marches on that, and it's her that convinces him to then go to Erebor.
She'd be
something
convincing.
like that. Yeah, exactly. He, based on in the book how isolationist he is.
Yeah. I think it's cool because you get to see Elrond and Galadriel in a different sense to they are in the Lord of the Rings, actually going out and rather than diminishing, as Galadriel puts it, going for it. And
see how much you can get for a picture of Lego.
Yeah. I mean, well, because in the book Elrond's the one who raises the water horses at Brennan, rather than Arwen. In the film it's obviously Arwen. But yeah, he is obviously good at magic as well. So yeah.
So yeah, we know we're going to get Elrond and Galadriel at least, is some fight against Sauron at Dol Guldur, which will be awesome.
Yeah.
There's going to be so much cool stuff in the third
But
film.
I guess the question might be if you see Elrond and Galadriel absolutely, tearing stuff up, why didn't they do that in The Lord of the Rings?
Or why don't they go to the Battle of Five Armies?
Oh yeah, why
It's a
not?
very good question.
Just rock up anywhere and be like,
The ring must be destroyed. One of you must do it. Why?
I'm retiring.
I'm busy. Yeah, look, he's handy. He's an elf lord. What about these two elf lords we've met? That'd be useful.
Oh no, let's take some hobbits. Why don't we take some hobbits?
Yeah, where do all the get Beorn, get Glorfindel, send him off. They do say in the book, don't they? They say that a mighty warrior would be very noticeable. So, I don't know, give him a cloak.
Yeah.
Well,
Sam's pretty good against Shelob though.
yeah.
Let's not deviate. Sorry.
Yeah, God knows God knows there'll be no deviation in this video. So we got that set, which is very cool. We've also got another Lake Town set, which looks great because I think it will combine really well with the first one in terms of Lego.
You like Lake Town houses?
I do like Lake Town houses. Yeah, one please. But it's the end of Desolation Smaug, isn't it? It's not particularly spoilerific.
No,
it's Tariel. Is it Bard and Bane? I think.
Yes.
And then some orcs.
Yes.
So it's. I don't think that's a new sequence because I think Lake Town is going to. Spoiler. I think Lake Town's going to be ruined fairly early on in this film.
Yeah, I mean, what can you do between Smaug flying from the mountain?
I mean, I think particularly given that they're doing the Erebor set, they're clearly doing a couple of sets to fill the stuff they didn't know about, perhaps. At the end of film 2.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So yeah, not a whole lot about that, but I might get it because I really like the Lake Town set as it is, and I haven't got a Tariel minifig, so I think I might.
It all depends on the entertainer's sale policy.
Entertainer's sales, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, good sales.
Yeah.
And the third one is called the Battle of Five Armies.
Mm-hmm.
So that looks like a kind of signature set a bit for this release. It's got Azog. You can't quite make out who it is because you can't read the text on the picture, but it was Azog, probably Thorin.
Yeah.
An armoured dwarf that could well be Dane.
Yeah.
And then a blonde elf, which could be Thranduil or Legolas. And then Bard. And then a couple of orcs.
It's probably Thranduil.
Yeah, I reckon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're going to pick the leaders.
And in it you see a ballista. PJ talked about the armies having accessories recently, so it looks like they're bringing some kind of war machines to attack Erebor.
I mean, the Gundabad looks similar to Uruk-hai, and the ballista looks similar to an Uruk ballista.
Yeah. So again, possibly a new profile for SPG.
Yeah.
Might get a Gundabad ballista of some sort. There's an eagle in the set, which is pretty cool.
Yep. The
eagles are coming. But quite interestingly, and I'm saying interestingly on this video, I think freely, not like I say interestingly to my wife. Interestingly. But if you look at the box, you can't see the Thranduil or Legolas and Bard models on the box.
No.
Which implies the box has been cut off a bit. And the ballista's firing on the box, it looks like it's firing towards the sky. So that Lego set's probably going to have a kind of Erebor gate, I think, where Bard and Thranduil probably are.
Or Dale?
Yeah, it could be Dale. Could be a Dale ruin.
Dale ruin.
Yeah, something like that.
But it's not firing at the eagle. The eagle's in the shop, so you can rule that one out.
Yeah, so that looks pretty good. But I haven't been particularly interested in a lot of the kind of castle-y ones. I didn't really enjoy it as a Lego fan. I don't really like the kind of Helm's Deep because it's a big castle. I like the ones that make slightly more Lord of the Ringsy buildings. I like the Mines of Moria one. I like the Weathertop thing because it's not just about the minifigs, but the bits look like key features. But yeah, I'll definitely I'll pick up the Lake Town one, I think, and probably the Witch King Battle because it'll be pretty cheap and it's 3 minifigs that I have.
One of that'll be their small one. Yeah,
I think that was going for about 15 quid or something.
Yeah,
but yeah, so Lego sets. At least we're going to get at least 4 Battle of Five Armies Lego sets, probably being announced or not released. Announced on October 15th. I think. So that's quite exciting.
Yeah.
Point the next. So there we go. Is that our...
Have you got another segue?
No. No, I think I get. Yeah, so that's our kind of movie news roundup so far for this week. We've got the extended edition coming out and the kind of what we can read into the Hobbit sets.
Yep.
So a few rules things. As we said,
Yeah.
we're going to talk about kind of big contentious discussions or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So what's been going on the forums this week?
A lot has been going on in the forums. Well,
Incredibly vague.
Yeah, a few rules queries. Don't know which one we want to bring up first, but one is regarding whether spells can be channeled or not.
Oh yeah.
Is that what you want to go for first?
Yeah, go for that. Yeah, no, go nuts.
So clearly, some spells have a channeled version,
Yeah.
and these are obviously named. And then those that aren't, let's say like a Gundabad Shaman's Shatter spell, you can't channel because there's no rule for it. But the interesting question came about because of an Eastling Warpriest Fury. Now it's listed as Fury in the book, but in terms of what it actually says underneath, it says this spell works like Fury, but for Easterlings.
Yeah, it gives them the Fury spell.
Yeah.
It lists their spells as Blade Wraith, isn't it?
No, the Blade Wrath's the making a weapon glow, strength 6.
No,
or
he's
something.
got 2 spells, isn't it?
Yeah.
Isn't that one of them?
Spells. Yeah.
So that's what I mean. It lists his spells as Blade Wrath and Fury.
Yeah.
And then Fury's got a star.
Yes.
And then underneath it says, if you might be familiar because you've read Fury in the rulebook, and bear in mind this is referring to the old rulebook as well.
Yes.
That's important.
That's a key point.
That it normally affects orc kind. So I haven't actually been back to the blue rulebook and had a look, but I wonder if the blue rulebook said Fury only affects orcs or something like that.
No, it says. I think it says the race of the caster. I still think it says that.
But it was only available to orcs, wasn't it? It was available to like goblins and
Goblins,
orcs
orcs,
and
yeah.
orcs and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
They were the only armies that could have it.
Yeah.
So there's this little note that says it works like it does for orc kind, but on Easterlings.
Yeah.
And then that led to the discussion of whether that makes that a unique spell, didn't it?
Yeah. I mean,
And the FAQ, the Hobbit FAQ specifically says the unique spells like Shatter don't have channeled versions because mainly they don't have channeled versions.
Yeah.
You don't know what you can't channel it.
it's
If
the
you don't
Tom
know what it will
Bombadil
do.
thing again.
Yeah, absolutely. Can you kill Tom Bombadil in one very precise way? Flash it up now. I don't know. Like for me, it was an interesting discussion certainly, and I look at it. His profile says Fury.
Yeah, and I think that the clarification that it's different is more to say that it's not men, it's Easterlings as opposed to, Haradrim or whatever.
It's not like he has a different spell called Angry, and that says this works in the same way as Fury. He is listed in his spells as Fury in exactly the same way an Uruk Shaman or a Moria Shaman has Fury listed.
Yeah. So our verdict is that you can channel.
Yeah.
You may disagree.
Yeah. Comment below.
That's fine.
That's the love.
Will this be added to the FAQ?
I don't know. Maybe.
Probably.
No one ever brings a war priest. It's like all the camel FAQs. Does it need an FAQ? Probably not.
Ben Camp will bring a war priest.
Yeah. Did you took these things? Did you?
Yes.
You didn't have a war priest? Oh, there you go. Don't need one. Where'd you finish in that tournament? Like
I played Jamie twice and lost twice, so about fourth.
about 4th, but you were on the top table.
Yeah.
Yeah. With pure Easterlings.
No Fury.
Don't need a war priest, channeled or not. But yeah, GBHL South say you can channel Fury with an Eastling war priest.
Yep.
Cool.
Point 1.
Point 1.
Point 2.
Probably the biggest one this week.
Yeah. So the question is to do with special strikes, but
Like so many questions are.
yes.
Special strikes have caused a lot of problems.
Yes. I don't know which one you think is the big one because they're both quite big.
I think the big one's the order. That was the really long discussion, wasn't it? That was the really long discussion.
Okay. So there's nowhere in the rules that says the person with priority or whatever has to declare a special strike first. Now, if you're playing normally in a friendly game, I don't think this makes any difference whatsoever, but there are examples in tournament play, say, where one player might say, I'm going to shield, and then the opposing player has, let's say, someone who can piercing strike, and therefore they now know that their opponent is going to shield, and therefore will elect piercing strike. if you had it the flip side and made the piercing strike model owner go first, then they'd have to weigh up, are they going to shield, are they not? And if they say, I'm going to piercing strike, then maybe the person who shielded in the first example may say, actually, I'm not going to shield.
Yeah.
So yeah, the order can be quite important.
Those seem to be the major one. As much as it was about who gets the special strike first, it seemed to be who gets to shield or piercing strike, didn't it?
Yeah.
That seemed to be the...
Yeah.
It's always about shielding because then there's no risk to the opponent. It's not about who gets to piercing strike and feint first, is it really? It's about if you're fighting someone shielding, who has to declare shielding first and who has to declare special strike.
Yeah. So I think that realistically, if you're owning a model with a shield, you can see that your opponent has an axe. So if you know that if you say I'm going to shield, that they're going to say I'm going to piercing strike. So that's in your mind. And I think that for me the crux of the matter is that it should be whoever is at a disadvantage if nothing is called whatsoever should have to say first. That, in a sense of if they don't say I'm going to shield, they're then against whatever 2 or 3 models and probably going to lose the fight. So it's in their best interest to shield, but they know that if they say that, then the opponent's going to piercing strike.
There's a big ambiguity. Well, it's not an ambiguity. It's just it's not clear in the rules. Like the rule, it's not that. It's quite clear to me that the rules didn't care about this.
No,
if I'm honest. Like it just says for every single special strike, before rolling your dual roll.
Yeah.
Like you can elect to piercing strike, you can elect to feint or whatever, and it's the same with shielding. There's never any implication of who should do it first. No.
So then you could get yourself in a spiral where somebody says, I'm going to shield. Opponent says, I'm going to piercing strike. Okay, well I won't shield then, and then the piercing strike will say, well, okay, well I won't piercing strike then.
But then potentially you can say, then I'll shield.
Yeah, and
forever.
I think that bar being a pain in the backside opponent, it's not going to go beyond the full circle back to nothing. And this is what my point is, that you shouldn't be allowed to go beyond the nothing. So maybe you can go all the way round, but realistically, the person who's at a disadvantage at nothing, as in no strikes, special strikes whatsoever, that the onus on them is to say first. It's the same with a heroic move. It's not, no one has to say it first. Yeah. But clearly the person with priority... Are you calling it
heroics? Well, I'll call heroics if you call heroics.
Yeah, well, clearly the person with priority doesn't need to call a heroic move until his opponent has said, I'll heroic move, and then he has to counter. And then maybe after that, the player without priority will say, well, I'll also heroic move with this person over here as well.
I mean, there was the talk, one suggestion was that you'd modify it, obviously your house rule, to have one set of backsies. Yeah. Essentially, that would be the rule, so that I can say I'll piercing strike.
I'll shield.
Then I won't piercing strike.
You've done it the wrong way around.
Sorry. One set of backsies. Right, I'm shielding.
I'll piercing strike.
Then I won't shield.
Then I won't piercing strike. Done.
That's it. But my issue is that I don't think it would ever go beyond that. Certainly in all the games I've played in the last year and a half, with swords and axes and shields, I've never got into that cycle.
No.
Where, I've probably played a game, I don't remember it. This is the thing for me, I don't remember ever being an issue. But I've probably had a point where I've gone, right, I'm going to shield, I'll piercing strike, well then I won't shield. Oh, okay. That's probably happened. Yeah. But I've never had it be a problem. Like, I think it was suggested by some people that it was, they've had it be a problem. Maybe they have, this is the thing, this is only my experience of it. But I've certainly never seen it come up with that. I sort of think, if I have a model with a shield and I charge a model with an axe and I want to shield, I know he's going to piercing strike.
Yeah.
Like, it's a tactic. I know that, so that then influences my decision of whether to shield.
Yeah.
Personally, I think. So it's not. Yeah, I don't know. For me, it's not a problem. They're certainly not. We've talked about this. The special strikes aren't perfect. I like them. I'm a big fan of them. I think they did add a lot.
Yeah.
To the game, as we've said on countless threads, I don't particularly want to get into it now. Like, I think it should be the weapon you're sculpted with.
Yeah.
I don't think you should be able to, do the whole axis thing. Like, that's my personal belief on it.
Yeah.
and that was the intent of the rule, that that model's got an axe, then he can do this. That model's got a sword, he can do this. Rather than let's model all our models with axes. But some of them are a bit unbalanced. Like axes, famously, everyone wants an axe, which must mean they're unbalanced.
Yeah.
Because if they weren't unbalanced, everyone would want all
Pay
of
the point
weapons.
for them, really.
Yeah. But I don't know. To me, it's never come up. You know what's really interesting? The only issue it had come up in for me was a game that I played where I was doing it essentially. I was being the dude. I don't know.
Dude.
I was being the dude. I think that's probably right. That.
Yeah.
The other do word, but who knows? Like, not intentionally, but I played and I've chatted to. I was playing Thomas Williams at Throne of Skulls.
Mm-hmm.
I've chatted to him about this since, and he said not at all. But he had a line of. He was shielded. He had Fountain Court with shields, and I had Warriors Variable.
Yeah.
And Tom was just very, very forthcoming with, right, this guy against this guy, all right, I'll shield. And suddenly, I was then like, well, I'll pierce and strike. And, you know, he in all these scenarios, he never then went, well, I'm not going to shield then.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't say, it's really hard. I wasn't trying to be slow about it. But he was being so quick with his, going, well, I'm shielding this, and then that's like, when I'm not shielding, then I'd think about whether I'm piercing strike.
Yeah.
But as soon as he said I shield, I'll be like, well, I'll piercing strike. And I started to feel like I was getting an unfair advantage. And I've said this to him afterwards, like, I'm sorry, and he said, thankfully, no, you weren't doing that at all. It wasn't like you were waiting for me. But then, you know, there is that bit of you that goes, well, why don't I wait and see if he shields?
But if you wait, then you both wait, and eventually you just roll the dice for the fight, and then he can't shield as he wanted to.
For my money, if he then said, all right, well, I'm not going to shield, that would be it. I'd be like, all right, well, I won't strike then. And
so maybe you need an if in there. Just be like, if I shield, what would you do? If I don't shield, what would you do?
And I think one of the problems with it was that if you know each other, or if you know that situation, the if is entirely unsaid.
Yeah.
That people run in together and sort of go, well, if you do that, I'm going to do that, and if you do that, all right, so we'll just do it normally. Yeah. But then to me, that just means, all right, fight normally.
Yeah.
What's the problem with that, personally?
Yeah.
But as I said, that's my only in-game experience of it being a problem, and it being a problem was me feeling bad about it, and my opponent not minding in the slightest.
Yeah.
Which isn't obviously really a problem.
No.
But the other thing is as well, if you want to shield, normally you're shielding because you need your model to stay alive, aren't you? You're not shielding to win the fight. You're doing it because you want the model to stay alive.
Yeah, or saving time.
If a model piercing strikes against you, he's got more chance of killing you, so you're still likely to shield. It doesn't really change your...
It'd be interesting to work out the probability of it if you're against two models, say. Quite interesting. If you've got two models, two Erebor dwarves against Fountain Court, you know, is it better for them to shield or not?
But yeah, those are my things. That, you know, the special strikes, various discussions about them come and go, like a lot. They're quite a hot topic. But to me, I've never had. You know, there were suggestions think that the person with priority, you don't get to go back. The person with priority calls first, and then the other person responds. That was the
because then it.
I think it slowed the game down.
Yeah.
I think if at the moment, as I said in that game with Tom, we just got to this come out, right, I'll shield, or I'll pierce and strike, and you're done. Whereas kind of going, right, so you've got priority, so what are you going to do? Okay, then what are you going to next come out? What are you going to do?
Yeah.
As opposed to people just
yelling
it out.
Yeah.
Personally. So yeah, those are. I think we're kind of on the same page about it, but that is purely an opinion. It is quite a contentious issue. So again, what do you guys think?
Yeah.
Does it need fixing? Who knows? Which, the special strike thing leads us on to our last topic for today.
Yeah.
So we're talking about a very specific implementation of one special strike that you very rarely see.
Yeah.
Realistically.
Yes.
I think.
And it's #bash.
Hashtag bash, indeed, yeah. This is about bash. It's about when you opt special strike. So we're specifically talking about hammers, maces, and mauls, I believe. Are the three
I'll
things?
say yes.
Yeah, stuff like that. It's not staffs. Staffs the stun.
Yeah.
It's like hammers, things that bash.
Yeah.
Hammers, maces, and mauls. So, I think.
Yeah. Grim hammers. Dwalin.
Dwalin, you might come up.
Yeah. Maces, which no, that's flail.
yeah, there's not a lot of models that actually have the stuff to begin with.
No.
And it's specifically dealing with when they hit cavalry.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
So the question being, it's very specific, but when you roll to bash, you compare the model who's bashing strength, that's easy enough,
Yeah.
against the model who's being bashed strength.
The Bashi's strength.
The bashee strength. And then you see, and the question becomes, can the bashee use the mount's strength for that? That was the discussion.
Yeah, because in the examples of warg riders, the warg strength is probably going to be the highest, and Felbeast, obviously the Felbeast strength is going to be higher, and I don't know what camel strength is that?
No one has any camels. Stop asking about camels. But the issue, the tactic, it's not really to deal with your wild riders, is it?
No.
It's a way potentially to deal with the Felbeast.
Yeah.
That if you bash the because the model's automatically not prone, if you bash the ring wraith, his strength's 4, and we were looking at Dwalin here. I mean, it's doable with Grimhammer, but you're largely looking at Dwalin's strength 5. If he can bash against the ring wraith's strength of 4, as opposed to the Felbeast strength of 6, he's got a really good chance of knocking him off, dismounting the Felbeast, and then the Felbeast.
I think he gets +1 because he's
two-handed
two-handed and burly,
yeah.
so he'd be on a
He'd be on
+2
good odds,
advantage.
and he's got might as well potentially.
Yeah.
So can he do that?
Yeah. Or does he have to go against the Felbeast where they're on an even playing field, so it's just a straight roll off between the two?
Yeah.
If it's equal, what happens?
I think it will say in Bash, I can't remember, I think it says if it's equal to or more, he's not prone.
Okay, so you still have a better chance.
But it might be, it might just equally say it if it's more.
Yeah. So anyway, this is where the problem lies, because cavalry, it's a bit of a grey area sometimes whether they can choose or not choose, because obviously if you're shooting at the ring wraith, yes, you have to take the 50-50 roll for what you hit the... Well, not 50-50 for a Felbeast, but 50-50 for normal cavalry as to which you hit. But then when you hit the ring wraith, you use the ring wraith's defence.
Yes. And if you strike him in combat, you use the ring wraith's defence because you have opted to strike the wraith.
Yeah. And so in this instance, can you opt to bash the wraith? And it says in the rules for bash clearly that you opt to strike the model.
It doesn't say model, it says opponent. It says one opponent is not
one
prone.
Opponent. But I think that opponent isn't... That for me would imply a model.
Do you know what it implies to me? It implies that they haven't thought about it being a cavalry model.
Yeah, exactly.
The wording of it doesn't matter.
No.
Because they're clearly not... It's just,
Pernicities.
it doesn't. They're writing in a situation where it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
One model is one opponent.
Yeah.
And suddenly you get into this potential situation where you can do it. Now, if you roll to wound against the wraith, the ring wraith doesn't get to use the Felbeast. If you say you wanted to wound the Felbeast, it doesn't get to pick its defence.
No.
And so there was talk of where you only get to use them on attack, wasn't there? I think. But we actually think it's pretty cut and dry.
Yeah.
Do we? I think. Do we agree?
Or if you gloss over that opponent wording, because that could go either way.
Yeah. Because
the cavalry section states that pretty clearly that you can use for the whole model, you can deliberately select the best fight and or attack and or strength.
Yeah.
And that last one's the key one. The cavalry model as a whole, you can, in whatever situation you want.
Yeah, you can use those three.
It doesn't. So it's not defence, which is the key one.
It doesn't say pick the best stat.
Yeah.
It says it chooses the best fight, attacks and strength.
Yeah. So for us, we think that, sadly, for those with
sadly it's Felbeast code.
Those harbouring dreams of smashing down Felbeast with Dwalin, I think that they can.
Because a cavalry model can't pick the best defence, so when you roll to wound it, you have to use the Wraith's defence or the Felbeast defence. But a cavalry model can pick the best strength, so that when you bash a Felbeast, it can, even though it's not attacking, it can still pick its.
So even if you're bashing the ring wraith, it can say, "Well, hang on a minute, I'm going to use his strength."
But it's still not a bad idea because Dwalin is still strength 5. You still get +1, so they start on an even footing.
Yeah.
It is still potentially a good way of getting rid of them. But my argument then went on, and there was a whole thing about Dwalin being able to pierce its strike because of his axes. What are you better off doing? Say it's mightless. Are you better off risking it all on a 50-50 roll to dismount him, or are you better using Dwalin's 3 attacks to swing at the Wraith?
Yeah.
When he's going to need, he's got +1 to win, so he's going to need 5s and the Frey's probably got a couple of fate, and Dwalin might have might.
Yeah.
And
I'd go for the 5s.
Yeah, I probably would, because you might, best case scenario,
Bar,
you might
bar
get
and
3
dying.
5s.
Bar the Undying.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. If you're doing the Undying, you'd bash, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
But so yeah, we came down, I think, because the wording's actually pretty clear. I think that if you were bashing a cavalry model, you would have to bash the best strength of the model.
Yeah. So Wargravers too.
You're welcome, Ed. Yeah, Wargravers as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was that.
Yeah.
And I think, viewees, that's us done. That's our agenda for today.
Yeah.
This has been fun. I've enjoyed this.
Yeah.
You enjoyed this?
Yeah.
So I reckon, I don't know, this feels like it's about an hour, which is kind of what we were hoping for. Give about an hour of kind of painting time. We hope you've enjoyed it. As I said, it's our first attempt. Let us know what you thought.
Yeah. Yeah, feedback. What's good? What you liked?
What was it? What worked and what didn't
What
work?
worked and what didn't work?
And yeah, fingers crossed. Please give us comments on what you think. We'll do a bit of review of that. We'll be watching the forums, looking out for topics to talk about for next week.
Yeah.
And we hope you enjoyed this, and we will see you next week. So, as ever, don't forget to comment, like, share, and subscribe.
Support your Hobbit hobby.
And happy strategy battle gaming.